Welcome back to another episode of Dragons in America. Let me know what you think. Leave a note in the comments. We out of here for this one, number 32, for a chosen few. Let's get it. We're talking lost tribes and promised lands, the seed of Abraham. Another one for the tribe. All praise the most high. Let's go. We're talking dragon kings and queens, servants of the Shamayims. Let me know what you think, man. We about to dig on this great Chicago fire. Man, I never thought I'd get to this point, but here we are. Let's go. Just staying in check, searching for the Melchizedek. You are now tapped in with Dragon Canoe, episode number 32. For a chosen few. Let's get it. We're steadily rowing and we're constantly flowing. All praise to the Most High. Allah. Let me know what you think. Leave a note in the comments. We out of here for this one. You know how we do. We got to get the flute flowing, get the vibes going. Picking up in Deuteronomy 4, verse 26. I call heaven and earth this day to witness against you that you shall soon perish from the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You shall not long endure in it, but shall be utterly wiped out. Hawah will scatter you among the peoples, and only a scant few of you shall be left among the nations to which Hawah will drive you. There you will serve gods with a little g of wood and stone, made by human hands, that cannot see or hear or eat or smell. There is no breath in them. But if you search there, you will find your power the Most High. If only you seek with all your heart and soul. When you are in distress because all these things have befallen you, and in the end return to and obey your power the Most High. For the Most High is a compassionate power, who will not fail you nor let you perish, who I will not forget the covenant made on oath with your fathers. You have but to inquire about bygone ages that came before you, ever since the Most High created humankind on earth, from one end of heaven to the other. Has anything as grand as this ever happened, or has its like ever been known? Has any people heard the voice of Wah speaking out of a fire, as you have, and survived? Or has any deity ventured to go and take one nation from the midst of another by prodigious acts, by signs and portents, by war, by a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, an awesome power, as the most highest of hosts did for you in Egypt before your very eyes? It has been clearly demonstrated to you that Hawah alone is the most high. Your mother and father above, there is none else. Let's go. Episode number 32, for a chosen few. We're talking section 107 of the Copyright Act. We're talking scholarship and research. Let's go. Are you the dracons, the dragons found here in America? Let me know what you think. Leave a note in the comments. You are now tapped in with Dragon Canoe. We are steadily rowing and we are constantly flowing. All right, let's take a dive back into this. We're talking serpents and dragons found in the Old Testament. They can denote divine power, and on the other, mortal danger. Dragons, or Tanin, are frequently invoked by the prophets or in the Psalms when the people are either oppressed by their enemies or have strayed from the path of righteousness. Either oppressed by their enemies or have strayed from the path of righteousness. For example, the wine of sinners of Sodom and Gomorrah is the poison of dragons. A poison of dragons. Part of Hawa's punishment of the unrighteous at the second coming will be an habitation of dragons. And says the prophet Micah, at the downfall of Samaria and Jerusalem. So we're talking about dragons taking down these so-called great cities. Let's go. Let me know what you think. We're talking the Great Fire of Chicago and the founding fathers, so-called founding fathers. It is a remarkably clear-eyed piece of ethnography. James Adair devotes the entire book to his argument that the American Indians were a lost tribe of Israel. A kink, Thomas Jefferson called this, no doubt chuckling when he told John Adams about it later. A lost tribe of Israel. James Adair devotes the entire book to his argument. A kink, Thomas Jefferson called this. All right, we just connecting the dots. Rock with me. I think the most important object which can be proposed with such force is the extermination of those hostile tribes of Indians who live between the Ohio and the Illinois. So Thomas Jefferson's popping off. A kink, Thomas Jefferson called this, that the Indians were a lost tribe of Israel. So rock with me. We're talking founding fathers. In a widely publicized speech, Ben Franklin was one of the first to recognize that the conquest of the Ohio Valley was the key to America's future. The key to America's future. Those hostile Indians between Illinois and Indiana and Ohio and Kentucky. The Scioto River Basin was home to scores of Shawnee villages that revolved around their main municipality, Chillicothe Town. We're talking T'Challa. Was apparently beside the point to Franklin. So Franklin's not worried about Chillicothe Town or them Indians for that matter, because the land is the key to America's future. We're talking Great Seal of the United States, which appears on the US dollar bill, set within a triangle, a single eye, surrounded by rays of light, the whole rest on top of an unfinished pyramid. We're talking Mound Towns, Mound City, Chillicothe, Ohio. Let's go. It says the spectacular conflagration that struck Chicago on the evening of Sunday, October 8, 1871, is the most well-known fire in the history of the United States. Right? We doing this for the tribe, man. All praise the Most High, man. We can dig on the Great Fire, the Old World too, man. Let's go. It's one of the nation's most fabled disasters. It says it left around 90,000 people homeless. It says the overmatched fire department was unable to stop it, especially once the roof of the city's new waterworks pumping station collapsed. We're going to dig on this pumping station. Once the roof of the city's new waterworks, they call it, pumping station, collapsed until it burned itself out in the early morning Tuesday, October 10th. So it burned for what? 2 days until it burned itself out, they say. There are no known photographs of Chicago during the conflagration, so we really don't even know. We just connecting the dots, staying in check, searching for the Melchizedek. There are no known photographs of Chicago during the conflagration. It says the Great Chicago Fire drew enormous attention, and they gained millions of dollars in charitable contributions. This was because Chicago, which barely existed only 40 years earlier, so it wasn't even around 50 years before this great fire. We gotta ask ourselves what was going on in Chicago. It says urbanizing and industrializing. the world's widening transportation and communications network. So what went down in Prophet's town? It says Granville Moody, a Methodist minister, also a commander of the 74th Ohio Volunteer Infantry, right? Fighting against them Indians. He returned to the pulpit with the imprint of the battlefield still on him. He says, the fire was a retributive judgment on a city which has shown such a devotion in its worship to the golden calf. We're talking wood and stone, the golden calf. There is no breath in them. Retributive judgment on a city showing devotion in its worship to the golden calf. We're talking wood and stone. There is no breath in them. In acknowledgement of those past offenses, Roswell B. Mason says, against Almighty God, to which these severe afflictions were intended to lead our minds, right? We're connecting the dots here. Talking wood and stone. Alfred Frederick's drawing of the young woman protecting fallen Chicago from being torn apart by wild dogs. All right, so follow me, man. You know them dragons are involved. Frederick's drawing of the young woman protecting fallen Chicago from wild dogs. Another artist, Jules Emile Santine, draws dark birds circling over the burned city, much as they do in Frederick's drawing. So what are these dark birds? Oh, you let me know. Dark birds circling over the burned out city. Many personified the raging conflagration as the fire fiend, implying that the devil himself was behind it. So people didn't know what to do, man. Just imagine this. It says the dogs of hell were upon the housetops of LaSalle and Wells Street, just south of Adams, bounding from one to another. Come on, man. Bounding from one to another. Are we talking Dracon cons? The dogs of hell were upon the housetops of LaSalle and Wells Street, bounding from one to another. All right, so this is the picture from Alfred Frederick's. You've got this angel, right? No, we're talking Malachim, and the angel. In the background, you see these dark birds. Dark birds. So-called birds. And they're fighting off these wild dogs, man. What kind of even drawing is this? October 10th, 1871. Talking dark birds. Since when have y'all known birds to fly around fire? You let me know. Talking dark birds depicted in these drawings, bounding from one house to another, they say. What a sight. A sea of fire, the heavens all ablaze, the air filled with burning embers. Thousands of people rushing frantically about, burned out of shelter, without food. The rich of yesterday poor today, destruction everywhere. Is it not awful? My God, when will it end? So this is what people are saying. The heavens ablaze. Wild dogs, the hellhounds, bounding from one house to another. Dark birds. Come on now. It was all too vast, too swift. We're talking fiery, shooting meteor. We're talking dragons. Vast, swift, full of smoke, too full of danger. Says the flames propelled by variable gusts of wind seemed to pour down Randolph Street in a liquid torrent. Literally in a shower of fire. Chicago's great conflagration was an apocalyptic struggle. An apocalyptic struggle. We're talking dragons, Tanin, invoked when either the people strayed from the path of righteousness or under attack from enemies. Someone saying they thought the day of judgment had come. He asked her if this was the last day, man. Was the Great Chicago Fire the Most High's work? You let me know. Leave a note in the comments. Chicago in flames, looking like the sky is on fire. Take a look at this. I mean, it may not be nothing, but what is this in the fire? Are these birds dark birds too? Let me know what you think. Leave a note in the comments, man. The heavens ablaze. If y'all see anything else, man, let me know. The rush for life over Randolph Street. The heavens ablaze. So again, you can't get around this stuff without talking about the Indians. The region had long been a vital locus of Native American life, known in the United States as the French and Indian War, ending in 1763, right before this so-called Declaration of Independence. An estimated Native American population of about 30,000, they say. Miami, Ottawa, and Sauk. The new American nation soon ousted the British was by contrast bent on integrating this expanse into the rest of the country. We're talking Northwest Indian Territory. In 1803, the U.S. Army arrived to erect Fort Dearborn, named after Henry Dearborn, President Thomas Jefferson's Secretary of War, these so-called founding fathers. A pyramid, a seal above an unfinished pyramid. Let me know what you think. We're talking the dollar bill. On the south bank of the river, they erected Fort Dearborn. By the next 3 decades, the Americans expelled the indigenous population. The most notable resistance in Chicago was near the beginning of the War of 1812. We're talking Tecumseh, the shooting meteor, the New Madrid earthquake. It says the Indians forced them to retreat eastward to Fort Wayne. They did not get far. It says they were attacked near what is known now as Roosevelt Road. They were attacked by the Potawatomi. More than half were killed. It says Chicago was founded on the model of enormous land grants that financed private railroads. It says the federal government cleared a sandbar that blocked the entrance to the river to make it accessible from the lake, right? So what's really going on here in Chicago? It says the final Native American attempt to halt settlement was the Black Hawk War of the spring and summer of 1832. Right? Tecumseh goes down in Prophetstown, 1813. They continue fighting. We got the Black Hawk War, 1832. Chief Black Hawk, a Sauk chief living on the eastern shore of the Mississippi. He got other Native Americans to join him. Most of the fighting was in the western part of the state. It says by August, Black Hawk was defeated. In 1833, 6,000 Potawatomi and their allies gathered in Chicago for negotiations in which they exchanged 5 million acres of land, right? So it's going down. They take out Chief Black Hawk, anyone who joined them, Tecumseh and them. By 1833, they're negotiating land. By 1835, the natives were virtually gone. Let's get it. Episode number 32 for a chosen few, right? So let's take a look at this. Looking northeast along Chicago Avenue toward the Chicago Water Tower and pumping station. This don't look like no water tower to me. What is this? Let me know what you think. We're talking obelisk. For Egyptians, the obelisk was a reverential monument. And we're talking Hebrew roots in Kalelus. Is America really Egypt? For Egyptians, the obelisk was a reverential monument, wood and stone, commemorating the dead, representing their kings and honoring their gods with a little g. Does this look like an obelisk to you, or is this a water pumping station, right? We're talking wood and stone. says, while the city's new waterworks, constructed in the 1860s, says that was the most visibly impressive part of this system was the Gothic revival of the Chicago water tower and pumping station. Says the tower housed a standpipe that regulated water pressure, they say, but who knows what's really going on. At 182 feet high, it was one of the highest points in the city. It says the fire took down many theaters and other attractions. It says the 5-story banner bedecked Colonel Wood's museum. All right, let's do the math. Wood's grab bag of natural history specimens and random oddities. So this fire took out more than just houses and water towers. It took out businesses, right? It says alongside displays of reptiles, insects, and birds were what Wood presented as Daniel Boone's rifle, mummies owned by the Mormon church founder Joseph Smith. So what's really going on here? We're talking Egypt. We're talking mummies owned by the Mormon church founder Joseph Smith. Let's go. And a 96-foot long whale skeleton he called the Great Zeuglodon. Come on, man. What's going on here? Let me know what you think. Says, including its most precious possession, Abraham Lincoln's original draft of the Emancipation Proclamation. So it's going down in Chicago, man. We got dark birds circling the flames. We got hellhounds burning up businesses, claiming to have the original copy of the Emancipation Proclamation. Mummies. Come on, man. Says the waterworks' most remarkable component was hidden from sight. Apparently, there was a 2-mile tunnel under the lake bed. It says at its far end was a vertical water intake topped by the crib, a pentagonal wooden structure. We're talking wood and stone. There is no breath in them. So anybody from Chicago, you see the water tower, the pumping station, this 2-mile water tunnel under the lake. Meanwhile, you got all these so-called wood and stone cathedrals, churches, pumping stations, water towers. Let me know what you think. The fire in the North Division, right? We see the water tower, the lake tunnel, the burn area, all of this you see in gray. Take a look. Let me know what y'all think. If you see anything, point it out. Leave a note in the comments. It says the fire in the West Division, the courthouse. Remember the courthouse, the Chamber of Commerce. Keep that in your mind. Apparently they're using gunpowder. We're talking explosions. Chicago Gas and Light, Coke Company. It says this is the courthouse shortly before the Great Chicago Fire, right? We're talking wood and stone and the buggy people, the horse and buggy people. Courthouses burnt down. Businesses are burnt down. Obelisks, old world structures, the courthouse after the fire. Let me know what you think. Was the Great Chicago Fire the Most High's work? So the courthouse burns down, Chamber of Commerce, we're talking railroads, Great Central Station, the post office, these churches. I mean, what's going on, man? We're talking hellhounds bounding from one house to another. All right, dark birds circling the fire. Come on, man. The horse and buggy people running around looking like the sky is on fire, man. Wood and stone. Says the corner of State and Madison Streets. The bricks in the rectangular receptacles, these things here, these bricks in the rectangular receptacles were intended for reuse. I have to ask the question though, was this already like this when they got here? Or did the fire really burn down the whole city in 2 nights? Come on, and they right back to it the next days? Get out of here. Let me know what you think. All right, we got the horse and buggy people running around. But again, only pictures you see of the fire are paintings. We don't really know what went down. We get the after effect images, then you got the horse and buggy people walking around like nothing happened. Hold on. Thought I saw something in here. Let me know what y'all think, man. We on a wave, man. So apparently the city burns down for 2 days, and then you got them posting up, doing business in the ruins. Wait, what are you selling? Everything was destroyed. What's going on? Did they really get here after the fact is the question. I don't know. The top hat people, who are these guys, man? Beginning, the field lighter and company, they say, before the fire, after the fire. I'm talking destruction, man. So-called map showing the burnt district. They were reselling this for money. What's going on, man? Everything burned down. We don't know what kind of sacred land this was on. We don't know what was really going on, man. We just connecting the dots, staying in check, searching for the Melchizedek. The worst victims in this time were residents of the African American and Jewish neighborhoods, they say. It says 2 African American churches, Bethel Methodist and Olivet Baptist, and 2 synagogues were burnt to the ground. We're talking wood and stone. There is no breath in them. Come on. So churches are burnt down. Houses are burnt down. The water tower is burnt down. The courthouse is burnt down. The Chamber of Commerce is burnt down. Come on, man. What's really going on here? Because then right after this, we start seeing this weird stuff, man. It says this heroic figure stood at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition. Come on, man. You look like you tell me what's happening in this picture. We just connecting the dots, man. Columbian Exposition, hella weird. We gonna dig on that. Another photo from a Columbian Exposition showing the image of a new black man, they say, with a horse. And then this cathedral behind them. What's really going on? So apparently this Columbian Exposition all stemmed from this fire. It says above the cartoon is the title Chicago Day, October 9th, 1896. The naming of the anniversary of the fire. That's weird, man. The 1893 World's Columbian Exposition. Columbian. Talking Christopher Columbus. Right. And the Indians, what's really going on? Unlike the Great Exposition of 1851, it says a colossal ensemble of beaux arts, palaces, and colonnades called the Court of Honor. So, more weirdness. Let me know what you think. The exterior of the buildings looked like stone, but was nothing more than white painted plaster over wooden framing, right? Wood and stone. But we really don't know what's going on here. What we do know is that it was destroyed. And people were saying dark birds, wild dogs bounding from house to house, the sky's on fire. You let me know what you think. It says still, the overall effect of the so-called White City was breathtaking, showing Chicago's full recovery from the fire and its revival. They got this I Will woman More weirdness. A noble Amazon with these two words, I will, nesting in her crown was a phoenix, an allusion to the fire and the recovery. You let me know what you think. Leave a note in the comment box. The World's Fair Grand Columbian Carnival. Man, what is this? It is wood and stone. There is no breath in them. Chicago Day, the monster concert, they say. The greatest display of fireworks ever seen, right? Wood and stone, man. You let me know what you think, man. This got weirdness written all over it, man. Wood and stone. Let me know what was going on in Chicago. And if it wasn't the Most High's work, please let me know how it happened. It says the Grand Basin in the Court of Honor. The Republic, which faces the administration building. It's weird, man. What is this? You telling me right after a fire, they spend their time, throw this up, wood and stone, and have a party? Come on, man. It's hella weird. So-called Chicago in ruins laying the cornerstone. What is this? You believe people in suits and horse and buggies rebuilt the city? Come on. You let me know what you think. What's really going on? Episode number 32, for a chosen few. Just a quick little wave surf, nothing too crazy. We just connecting the dots. The Centennial Fire Medal. You see the Great Fire, the city rebuilt afterwards, 100 years later. Come on now. Columbian Exposition. I don't know, man. It's got dragons written all over it. If you ask me, you let me know what you think. We out of here on this one, man. 32 for a chosen few. Let me know what you think. Leave a note in the comments. All praise to the Most High. Halal. 32 for a chosen few.